The final use of percentages, and I think this is the most important, so we'll see some applications, but the reason percentage ka concept came about was to be able to do these percentage increases or decreases, right? When you say, yaar, the water's, I don't know, not hot enough, can you make it hotter by 20%? What you're doing is using this concept of percentages. So the formula that's in your book and that most people are taught is you just take the number and you add or subtract if it's decreased, but let's say it's increased, then you add the percentage multiplied by the number, okay, because you're increasing by that percentage. Let me first use this method, and then I want to teach you what I use, which is I think the better alternative and the better way to think about it. But the book formula, if the question is increase 150 by 20%, notice this is not off, it's by, so you have to increase it by a certain number. Well, it's just the number, which is 150, plus, because it's increase, 20%. So remember the percentage times the number in brackets. So plus 20% off 150, which is multiply 20% off 150. Okay, so you first simplify the bracket, you leave this here. 20% of 150 just means 20 over 100 times 150. Okay, which the zeros get cancelled. 2 ones are, 2 fives are, and then 5 ones are 30. So you just get 30. So it's just simplified to 150 plus 30, which is 180. So that's the book method, which is obviously always correct. You can do all of these steps. What I want to teach you is this alternate formula, which is, I think it's better, which is to think about percentage increases as, remember we learned that everything is as a box and 0 to 100%. When you say I'm increasing something by, let's say 20%, you're saying take this 20% box, right? Remember 20 was 1/5. So take this 25% box and add it on here. So I get this new shape which is 20% bigger. You know when you buy something, a box of cereal or juice or a Coke, and it says now 10% more, what they're saying is we've added 10% to it. And so logically what I'm going to get to is the 100% plus the 20%, which is 120%, 120%. So percentages can go above 100. You can get a 200% increase in a stock price. You can get so many examples. But what does this mean, 120? So if you take the number and you now multiply it by, instead of 100, you say, oh, you wanted me to increase by 20%, then it's just 100% plus the 20%, which is 120%. Then in one step, instead of doing this first bracket and then adding, the formula just becomes take the 150 and just multiply it by 120%, which is 150 times 120 over 100. I'm just getting rid of the percentage sign. And now it's the same as before, but notice usually what happens is it becomes even easier because the zeros just start canceling out. So this 0 with this 0 with that, and what you're left with is 15 times 12, which when you solve out, you'll get the same answer, which is 180. All right, so I think the reason I like this is you can actually start doing these in your head. So we'll see an application for when I'm looking at a discount, which is really just a percentage decrease in price. Let's do one more example. So this time decrease the price of apples from rupees 40 by 30%. Same concept. Method 1 is to calculate the decrease first, which is, okay, I know the starting price is 40. Notice it's decreased, so I'm going to put a minus sign. I want to decrease it by brackets mein 30%. So 30% off 40, which just means the off just means multiply. So I'm going to do 40 minus, what is 30% of 40? Well, 30 over 100 times 40. The zeros cancel out. I'm just left with 3 times 4, which is 12. So this is equal to 40 minus 12, which is 28. So that's method 1. Method 2 is the shortcut I'd mentioned, which is if I'm decreasing, let's go back to this. This was increase. If I was decreasing something by 30%, I'm saying, we have this block which is 100. What if I cut off 30% from here? I'm decreasing by 30%. What will be left? Well, it'll be 70% is left. So the same logic, you just say you take the 100 plus or minus the increase. So this time it's 100 because it's decrease. I just decrease 100% by 30%. I'll get 70%. And now all I have to do is take the number and multiply it by this final percentage, which is 70%. Okay. So directly I can just do 4 sevens are 28 and the zeros will cancel out with the percentage. So I'll get 28. This just enables you to do it in your head, and we'll see how we can apply it now. So I'll round off the chapter by talking about what I started with, which is when I go to a store and I see an object on discount and people start taking out their phones, it really upsets me as a math teacher or practitioner. So here's how you do it in your head. All right. So let's say step one, you're going to take the discount percentage and subtract it from 100. So I'll do this as we go along. Let's just do an example. So you see a perfume with a price 12,500 and the sign says it's 60% off. So discount is 60%. Sometimes it'll just say discount is 30, whatever, discount. Importantly, it's not telling you the discounted price. They usually write the original and you have to somehow find the discounted price. So how do we do this? Well, the first step, remember, is subtract the discount from 100. So just quickly in your head, you'll do 100 minus 60 is 40%. Okay, that's fine. Step number two, now that you have this 40%, you just have to multiply this with the original price. So I would do 12,500 times 40%. Now this is where people say, how can I do this in my head? And the trick is you just start ignoring the zeros, and obviously not ignoring, but what that means is if I was doing this on paper, I would write this as 40 over 100, right? And so notice that these zeros would all get cancelled. So the two zeros would go, well, let's actually get rid of one of these and one of these. So all that's left is 1250 times 4. But even a simpler step, like even this zero for now, just say whatever number I'll get, I'll multiply by 10. So it's just reduced to what is 125 times 4, and then you'll just put a 10 at the end. Hopefully I'm making sense so far, but you went to the store, it was 12,500, the discount was 60%. पहले तो in your mind, okay, 100 में से 60 निकाल दिया, you're left with 40%. Now 12,500 को 40 से multiply करना seems tricky, but can I do 125 times 4? Yeah, 25 times 4 is just 100, and so 100 times 4 was 400, so I should get 500, right? And then the 10 I'd ignored for a bit, I can just strap back on, and so the discounted price is 5,000. Notice I haven't used any calculator here so far, and so maybe this was a tricky example, but more simpler ones, you go to a store, something is nice round 5,000 and it's 30% off. The trick I'm saying is forget the zeros for a second. What is 3 times? So first, well, reduce it. So 30% was the discount. So 100 में से निकाला 70 रह गया, right? And what is 7 times 5? That's the trick. 7 5s are 35. So it will just be 3,500. That's it, right? So 30% off, you get 3,500.